That was just happening.
Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
Me, Rob. We suck again.
Did we? Did we, though? Or was this all according to plan, guys?
Are you saying tank?
I'm not suggesting it. I never want us to be the one to suggest it. But I'm suggesting it may be happening.
It's very easy to see that.
Yes. So, guys, for those of you who may not have got a chance to watch the whole game or even the end, we lose to the Carolina Panthers.
One team worse than us.
17 in overtime, guys. 20-17 to the worst team in the entire NFL, supposedly. Is that what happened there? Or is it perhaps that we are the worst team in the NFL? And we've just been in denial. Denial is not just a river in Egypt, guys. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, it's, and you hate to put a loss on one guy. And y'all probably know who I'm talking about already. But
the guy that couldn't hold the ball?
One man to ruin it all. That's where I'm at right now because, guys, we should have absolutely destroyed this team.
Yeah.
There is nothing that makes you go, okay, the Panthers were the better team because of blank. And you got to look at the quarterback position and say, this is why we lost. There was guys wide open getting missed, guys. Absolutely wide open, like yards away from a defender, and Jones was missing them on a regular basis. You had guys who, were in stride that he's throwing behind on a regular basis and messing up the play. Like the last interception is a classic example of that. 2 interceptions in the red zone.
Yeah.
What does it take to finally get rid of this guy? Like, seriously.
Hopefully the bye week.
I feel like I'm like Brian the dog here and saying, whose leg do I have to hump here to get a dry martini? But instead it's like, whose leg do I have to hump here to get a decent quarterback? This is not the answer, guys. We've been saying this. We've been calling this for weeks for Jones to get the hell out of the games. At what point do they do this? And I'm really hoping this has got to be it, guys. This has got to be the swan song for him because it is absolutely goddamn ridiculous that we keep trotting out this quarterback. That is, like I've been saying, I know you've been agreeing with me there, Rob. He's a glorified Taysom Hill at this point, guys. That's what this is. He is a better runner than a passer, and that's a really sad statement, guys. And I get it. He's a great guy. He does this. He does that. I get that. The intangibles are 100% there, guys. But the things that aren't intanged are not there.
Yeah.
Can't read defenses. Can't throw the ball well. Can't lead receivers. Like, at what point do we say this is freaking done? Because I'm telling you guys right now, listen, I appreciate all y'all that are in this chat right now that are watching this live with us. I appreciate all that watch the game live. I'm telling you right now, if we did not do this podcast, I would not be watching the games anymore. I'm just calling like it is, point blank. I would not be, because it is a waste of our time. It is a freaking sham of a team at this point, and it's all because they refuse to make a change at quarterback. That's the whole entire goddamn reason, because they refused to make a change at quarterback. That is so goddamn obviously needed, it's not even funny.
Yeah. It's a shame because, like, all right, you're riding or dying with DJ right now. Well, guess what? You're dying big time because now just think about you give out medium cokes to get fans to get into the stands. You can't get fans into the stands or watch the game right now because we're 2-8. We just lost against what was the worst team in the NFL, who's been playing terrible. Which, if you want to be a jerk, with their backup quarterback because they benched him for someone else that got hurt.
Yeah. You can go. I don't know what you want to call him a backup necessarily, but yeah, he's a guy they had to bench and bring back. And I mean, Dalton was there, but I mean, it's just guys, this is just sad. This is pathetic. And you're right. This isn't a medium Coke scenario. This is like a small Coke. It's like for all y'all that go to do it at Disney all the time, when they give you the little cup at Epcot to try the various Cokes from around the world. It's like that kind of thing. This is like a Jello shot cup of soda, basically. Like it's such a slap in the goddamn face to the fans. Like, could you imagine, guys? Listen, if you did, all power to you. I wanted to do this myself, and especially after this game, I'm very glad I didn't. But imagine if you're a Giant fan and you spent the money to go to this game. How goddamn pissed would you be? I think
furious.
The flight alone is probably $1,000. Plus, you got the actual ticket. Plus, you got the hotel because obviously you don't have a house in Munich, probably. I don't know unless you're rich, who knows? But that's goddamn freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like I don't have another word for it, guys. It's like, how many weeks in a row can we sit here and say DJ sucks, he needs to go? How many goddamn weeks?
Apparently, it's going to be another 7 weeks of that.
And I'll tell you what, guys. It's like I'm looking right now. This week is obviously we got the bye week coming up here. Rob and I are going to do a breakdown of college quarterbacks, and I guarantee you there's not a goddamn quarterback that we're going to talk about on Wednesday here that I would not say is probably a better option than Daniel Jones at this point.
That's not saying much.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's absolutely goddamn ridiculous here. It's like I said, it's we're the laughing stock of the NFL at this point, guys. Like, is year 7 supposed to be?
That's when he comes to. That's his year. Didn't you know? Like,
is that when we're supposed to count on him? Like year 7, is that when he stops throwing picks in the in the red zone? Is that when he stops? I mean, wide open goddamn receivers. Wide open. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Someone explain to me what the benefit of keeping this clown in this game is. And I'm really trying to not that that's a strong name, but I try not to call that guy a name because it's not like he's not trying. But this is on the coaching staff. This is point blank on the coaching staff for leaving this guy out here. Even the goddamn announcers were sitting there going, "Oh, I think the Giants are having a discussion about benching Jones."
I mean, what else are we going to talk about with the Giants at this point? Like, we're sitting there fumbling the ball, we're giving over turnovers, interceptions. Like, we can't put points on the board. Our defense is looking pretty good for the most part. They're getting exhausted by the end of the game because they're always on the field because our offense can't stay on the field with 3 and outs. Like, what else are you supposed to talk about this offense?
Yeah.
Oh, there's only so much you can say about Nabers, who's not getting the ball because he can't get the ball thrown to him in time.
But they were also talking about all the open people he was missing, and that obviously, typically, what you'll see on a telecast, they try to stay neutral. And kind of vanilla to a certain degree there. And they won't really bash a player on the team. But here they were the entire game going, he's missing guys wide open. Here's another one thrown behind. Here's this and that. Like, they pointed out so many damn throws during this game. It's not even funny that he was messing up. Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand it. Like, what the hell is going on? It's ridiculous, guys. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. And I think if the game had it ended the way it was, you're gonna have some people that were gonna call out the defense to a certain degree, because I heard a lot of people, during the game on Twitter and everything calling crazy because of the fact that we gave up a lot of rushing yards. Guys, this is not the defense. Not on the defense whatsoever. If you think about, take out the field goal that won the game in overtime for a second. In the 4 quarters, they gave up 17 points. Whenever you give up 17 points, you are not the problem. People look at Chuba Hubbard having a freaking crazy good day, 28 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown. Guys, we all told you leading up to this game that this was going to happen, that the Giants cannot stop the run. We were very clear on the show about this, that the issue is going to be, and luckily, Brooks didn't play, because I still think he's even a better running back than Hubbard. I think he's going to be a freaking stud in this league when he's finally healthy. But yeah, Chuba Hubbard went off in this defense. But look at the rest of it, guys. Bryce Young, 15 of 25, 126 yards and a touchdown. Are you going to blast the defense for that? You can't. No. They didn't have a single receiver over 41 yards. 41 yards was the leader, guys. And that's Coker. Xavier Legette, 40 yards. Nobody did anything crazy in this game except Chuba Hubbard. You cannot blame the defense on this point blank. You cannot. And if you do, I'm sorry, you're just absolutely dead wrong. Absolutely dead wrong. Now, would I like to get the quarterback a little more? Obviously, the early sack by Brian Burns, that was only sack. Would love that. But, guys, they can't do everything. They can't do everything. So, I don't want to hear anybody blame the defense in this whatsoever. Does the run defense suck? Yes, it has all year long. And
past couple years.
17 points is nothing that I'm going to sit there and blast the defense on. If they average 17 points a game per season, you'd be happy. And I get it. Yeah. This is not a good offense. You didn't expect them to score a lot of points. But that's where you're at, guys. That's where you're at. So let's get to some of the comments here, guys, because you got a lot of comments coming. Keep the anger coming. I get it, guys. So this is like therapy section here.
Tell me about all your problems.
Nick Stream says, that was a tough one to watch for sure. Solving the race problem, disgusting to watch a team pretend to play football. It's a group of professional athletes cosplaying as football players. I still stand by what I said. And I'll just say it until I get shown otherwise. This team is far off as people think. It is a quarterback away. Absolutely a quarterback away. He had 2 drives in the red zone that he threw interceptions on. Imagine if let's see 50-50. Let's see, one was a touchdown, one was a field goal. Okay,
you won the game.
But I'm saying take that into effect there. So let's take into effect the fact that he missed like 3 or 4 deep shots. The guy was wide open. You get 1 touchdown out of the whole batch, just 1. I think that's a fair assessment for all the major misses that Jones had in this game. Let's say that Graham Gano hits the easy field goal, just coming back from an injury. Stuff happens. You're looking at 20 points right there, guys.
Yeah.
This team is not it's a quarterback away.
And that's not to say, like, that changes the way that, Carolina plays football, how they're calling their plays. So who knows if they get to 17.
Yeah, because they would have forced him to throw the ball more, which is not their strong suit.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so it could be more than a 20-point difference.
Yeah, like I said, this is not the team is not bad, guys. And maybe I'm crazy for thinking it. Maybe I'm a homer for thinking it. I still don't think this team is bad. I look at it, we got a good young running back, we got a top flight receiver, we have another guy who just catches the ball and gets you first downs in short yardage situations. You got a deep threat guy who's unfortunately wasn't in that game today, but a deep threat guy that I do count on. You got a young tight end that's showing you glimpses. You got an offensive line that, again, without Thomas, obviously hasn't been the best, but has been better this year than it's been in years past. What you're missing is a goddamn quarterback. Yeah. And it's hard to judge this team as a whole without a quarterback. It really is, guys. Got an anonymous Facebook user here. Jones sucks.
Anonymous user is fantastic with his comments.
Yes. Only idiots will defend DJ at this point. Yeah. Listen, I don't want to call somebody an idiot for a different opinion, but yeah, I'm sorry, they're an idiot. Like, seriously, there is no way anyone can defend this guy at this point. Like, what does he have to do? Like, go stab somebody before you start talking bad about him? Like, you can separate the person and the player. He's a very nice person by all accounts. 100%.
Yes.
He's a horrible quarterback. Point blank. Horrible quarterback.
As a
And,
starter in this league, he's a 3.5.
and the discussion of whether we ruined him or he ruined himself or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't even matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
We got to call out The Rock for this one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like,
jabroni.
It doesn't matter. Who gives a damn? What matters is we have a guy who should not be starting in the league starting. We have no legitimate backup because for whatever reason, front office, coaching staff, ownership, who knows who the hell made this call, decided not to give any actual competition to Jones this year again. But what we do have is this interesting guy on the team
Likes the gabagool.
that we know can play better than Jones because we saw it last year. Point blank saw it. This team played better with DeVito. The fact that he is not playing, if he's not playing next week, guys, it is time to burn down the house, guys.
Yeah. Riot.
Burning down the house. Like, it's time. It is time, guys, because if that happens, not that Rob and I have this much power. Like, I'm not trying to make it seem like I have the power to change the way Giants fans root for the team. But I will tell you point blank that all y'all should go on a fan strike. Don't go to the games. Don't spend money on the team, on memorabilia, whatever all this case may be. Don't do that stuff. Because you know what's going to make ownership listen?
The revenue.
When they come back from the bye week and play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Bucks, who can't even fill up their own stadium. They have more fans at the stadium than the Giants do because Giant fans didn't show up. That's what's going to make the difference. Think about what happened with the last year in Joe Judge. Joe Judge was coming back. Now, he messed up with his conference he had against the Bears and stuff like that. But the fans flipping out was a big part of why he was gone as well. It is time to make that call. If they go ahead and try to trot out Daniel Jones again, guys, it is 100% time to make that call. And I don't know what else needs to change, because I don't want to make a call until we get, a different quarterback in there and see what we got for the rest of the year. But Jones cannot start point blank. Deb says tanking would be unacceptable to me. Easier to say they tanked than they played pitifully. Again, I don't think they played pitifully. I think Jones played pitifully.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think if you had put Tommy DeVito in for this game, we'd be winning. We would have won the game. 100%. Not a single doubt in my mind. Not even a doubt. Solve the Race Problem says, do you guys see any major changes happening with the coaching staff after a terrible loss like this? No.
Yeah, they're going to stick by him. The Mayer family already said that.
They also
said they're going to stick by Jones this year, but I also don't see that.
The only thing that I could see potentially changing is because of how bad the offense has been. Again, it's Jones. It's not anything else but Jones right now. Maybe you want to give 10% to the table because he just makes some weird play calls occasionally. Like, what was it, that flea flicker when it was like, 3-3, third down to 3, with a third down to 4, whatever. Let's do a flea flicker. What?
Yeah. No sense. Makes no sense.
It's a short route. You don't need a flea flicker. But, I think maybe that's the only call I can see is maybe they go, okay, hey, Kafka, you can get the play calling back. I don't think they're going to do that, though. But I think it has the highest probability out of those possibilities, even though it's a very low probability.
Yeah. Hey, listen, start, auditioning yourself for next year.
For next year?
Because he's not going to be back as Giant.
Who?
Kafka.
Yeah. No, he's going to be gone. He's going to be very happy to be gone. Trust me.
Yeah.
Facebook user says, terrible. Using this Charles Barkley voice.
Horrible.
It looks like we are tanking. Ain't no way all those mistakes happen like that. Well, yes. It looks very easy to make mistakes when you put a crappy player at the most important position on the team and you continue to play him week in, week out, even though he sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Point blank. John Anderson, what's up? It says, good morning.
But
And what Charlie Brown says, good grief. Deb says, this was on Jones 100%. Giants can't win until they can pass the ball. Yeah. I mean, that's what the name of the game is.
Especially, because what was he, like 71 yards up into the fourth quarter, then 120 yards in the second?
Yeah.
Or in the fourth quarter. So, like, what? Terrible.
Yeah. Solve the race problem says, can't stop the run, can't tackle. Bryce Young looks like Tom Brady. Ashawn Robinson came back to haunt us. Bring out the paper bags in embarrassment. So, can't stop the run has been a problem all year long. I don't think that's really stopping us winning games, as crazy as that sounds. It's a passing league. You know, you win by passing. That's why we don't win. Bryce Young looks like Tom Brady. I can't remember Tom Brady ever having games of 126 yards. I think that's a little extreme, man. Ashawn Robinson came back to haunt us. Yeah, no, I mean, he had a really good, really good game. That's for sure. Never had a game like that as a Giant. That's for sure. Where were those games last year?
Yeah, right.
He's a guy that I think a lot of Giants fans have already kind of forgotten about because he was there, but he wasn't the guy that like came off the paper like, oh my God, do you see the game that Ashawn Robinson had? Could you even tell me what his best game as a Giant was? I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Nope.
Yep. Guy, Facebook user says, DJ is why I'm pro-choice. Oh my God. Eagles 1977 says, ouch. Yes, we're all saying ouch right now. Trust me.
Especially that comment.
You were right way back, Drew. They never even brought in a quarterback to challenge Jones for the job. No, they didn't. And quite frankly, he probably would have beat him out.
That's probably why. Because they're so high on playing Jones.
Ruin his confidence. He's very confident. He's almost like, you ever see parents with with a kid that like they think the kid has a ton of talent. That's something like singing, dancing, whatever, and the kid sucks, and everybody but the parent can see it.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like Daniel Jones has been. He's been that like kid that's been sent to singing lessons since he was 2, and gets last place in a talent show, but the parents are like, I don't know why he didn't win. It's all the judges.
Yeah, the judges would just listen to how he goes.
That's what I feel like we got going on, and I'm just
the judges just listen to the melody, not his voice. You would understand.
John says it's too late now to bring Tommy Lasagna, and he would have won some of these games. Yes, 100%. But it's not too late.
It's never too late.
Tommy is like learning to read. It's never too late, guys. Okay, like
Tommy like wings.
Because again, at this point, I don't know what he is. I really don't. I think that DeVito should come into the game just so we can see what he is. Because I think he could be a decent long-term piece of the franchise as a backup.
Yeah.
But got to see what we can do. Plus, to be very frank, I don't want but we're probably going to. If we draft a quarterback, I don't want to just throw him to the Wolves, guys. That's not the way to win. Look at the guys who are succeeding in the NFL, and a lot of these guys had a chance to sit down and relax and learn. And that's a much higher percentage of people that succeed in the NFL than the guys who win right off the bat. Because for every CJ Stroud that just came in and did his thing, there's probably 5 Anthony Richardsons.
And there's also another 10 guys that are way worse than Anthony Richardson.
I'm just saying that. Like, I'm saying it's an example because he's the most recent one to get kind of benched and kind of shut out at this point. Like, there's a whole lot more that just have not been able to succeed. Facebook user, I'm not spending a dime on this franchise until DJ is gone. Don't. 100%.
Yeah.
It's just really pissed. Like I said, I wouldn't. I mean, granted, I've already spent a lot of on Giants memorabilia, so it's like part of the problem is I'm running out of room my wall behind me, but I have like 1 inch over there.
That's what she said.
Whoa. Dada D says, imagine if y'all kept Saquon with Malik Nabers and drafted a quarterback in the latter rounds. Why? So we can get Spencer Rattler? He looked good for the Saints. I love how people think like, oh, you just drafted a quarterback later in the later rounds and it just works out. Like, no, it doesn't work out always. Most of the people that actually succeed at quarterback are late first round, early second round picks. I don't know why.
Josh Allen.
Right, we talked about this before. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. You know, a lot of the guys who were successful, they were second round picks or mid to late first round picks. They're not the early picks for some reason. It's just weird how that works out. Facebook user, it's embarrassing. Josh Grave collectibles. Why would any Giants fan who isn't German actually go to this game? You were stupid if you did. You knew what the outcome was going to be. No, listen, I thought about it. Here's part of what it comes down to be. Is you got to keep in mind, you don't just wake up a couple weeks ago, let's go to Germany.
Somebody plan it,
Yeah.
As soon as the schedule comes out.
People were planning that in September, early October, and I can't blame them. Like I said, you get a once-in-a-lifetime experience going to an NFL game in Germany. You get to visit a city you've probably never been to before. That's
Drink
fun.
Das Boots.
I would have loved to go there. Like I said, absolutely would have loved it. So, unfortunately, it wasn't in the cards. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Josh says, are you rooting for them to lose yet? Nope. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. John says, this is schrecklich. German word for terrible. I probably way mispronouncing that. I am German heritage, but not. I don't know. I know not an ounce of German that I did not learn from Rammstein.
Touche.
Anthony says, I'm officially on the Fire Dable train. Yeah, I can't be on there. I really can't. And part of the only thing that I'm saying is fireable is that if we keep, putting Daniel Jones out there week in, week out, like that's an issue. But I look at the fact that I don't know who's making that call right now. I really don't. So who are we going to blame? Yeah, I can't sit there and blame Brian Dable at that point. For all I know, he's being told from Shane, from Mara, saying, hey, keep Jones in. Keep him in. I don't know. I have no clue. So how am I going to fire a guy and blame him once I don't know? Now, as far as the rest of his job, guys, 2 years ago was coach of the year. I can't sit there and get a guy who we were all infatuated with just 13, 14 months ago, and then sit there and say, hey, he's got to go. Like, this team has not given up on him again. The only one who is causing the losses at this point is Jones. And I hate to put it on one person. And I'm not saying every other player is perfect. I'm not saying everybody else is a Pro Bowler and all this BS. But I guarantee goddamn to you, if we had traded for Matt Stafford at the deadline, which I'm not suggesting we did because I don't know what the offer was out there, I guarantee if Matt Stafford was in instead of Daniel Jones right now, we would have won that game. We would have won a bunch of other games as well. This team would be above 500 with a good quarterback. I still swear by that.
Yeah.
You can't win if you're scoring the worst amount of points in the league. Can't win.
No. I mean, we would be in talks about winning the division because let's talk about it. Like, Washington is walking away with the division right now at 7-2. And
I think we'd be that good, though.
I'm not saying we're going to be that good, but we'd be talks of it. Like, Washington's schedule is going to be a little tougher in the second half this year. We line up a little bit. And there's potential for the Giants to sit there and be like, get 9 wins for the year, 10 wins, which is pretty much what I said from the get-go is what the division, what the leader of this division is going to need is 10 wins.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it from this perspective. If we had a good quarterback, hypothetically for a moment, we would have potentially won last week against the Commanders. We would have potentially won the week before against the Steelers. We would have potentially beat the Bengals. The defense held them to 17 points, and we only put 7 points up against a really bad defense. We would have potentially beat the Cowboys. We would have potentially beat the Commanders the first time. That's 5 games right there.
We would have.
But I'm trying to be nice about it because you don't know it's going to happen 100%. But that's 5 games right there that we should have won and haven't won. This team is not far behind, guys. It's not. Facebook user, great loss. I don't even know if this is the same Facebook user or if somebody's in our one of our groups at that point. Because sometimes Facebook groups won't let you put your name and stuff like that unless you sign a little thing on Facebook. Deb says they need to draft a franchise QB and a bridge QB. Yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, I really think that that's what we need to do. I'm 100% there. I think that the best option to me would be to go ahead and get a guy who can start the season and then put in, whoever they draft at that point when they're ready. And I don't know which guy you want to put out there per se. You look at the guys that be out there. I'll give you the list of the guys who be out there this free agency. Sam Darnold, probably going to get a decent deal because of what's going on in Minnesota right now. Zach Wilson, not great. Trey Lance, not great. Jacoby Brissett, old and not great. Tyler Heineke, I mean, maybe. Yeah. Marcus Mariota, old and not great. Drew Lock, we've seen how that's gone so far. Jarrett Stidham, I mean, it's not there's a lot of great guys coming out. I mean, the guys you'd have that you'd consider starting would be like maybe Andy Dalton, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston. Like, there's a couple of guys out there that I would look at in that kind of role. But I would also look at if DeVito plays well the rest of the season, assuming we go ahead and put him out there, I would just go ahead and keep DeVito in. Make him the backup and start him off in the season.
Yeah,
what's the worst that happens? Become a good quarterback? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Horrible problem to have. We have one guy we like and one guy that's developed somehow. Horrible issue.
Oh, jeez.
John says, agreed, Anthony. Fire them all. Get Rex Ryan. Oh, Rex Ryan's not coming here, guys.
Jeez.
He hasn't coached in how long?
10 years?
I love my New York Giants. Only benefit is showing us who he is, and he's not good. I've been a fan of DJ, but we obviously need to change. He's bad more than he's good. Yep. Time to go. It's time.
Oh, yeah.
Deb says, not ready to give up on Dable. How the hell can he win with a QB who he's been strapped with? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's fair to analyze the job of Brian Dable with this quarterback issue. I really don't.
Who's clearly, like, he hasn't publicly said it, but he's clearly wanted to move on from Dable.
Yes,
wanted to move on from DJ.
You could tell in Hard Knocks he wanted to. In Hard Knocks, you could tell. Like, you're telling me I'm coming back a basically the same quarterback room as last year? Like, you could tell he was like, what?
When he comes to the Giants and he goes, hey, you don't get your fifth-year option.
Yeah.
You didn't say is that a sign? Like, he wanted him there? Like, oh, yeah, we want you here, but we're not going to give you the fifth-year option. Like,
yeah, it's, like I said, definitely something that I am not a fan of. I'll put it that way. Yeah, it's something's got to get done. Something's got to. I don't understand why we're still dealing with this. I really don't. As Dakota, of course, the Eagles fan, LOLing us. Then you got Facebook user, I am back. D Fook, trying to put it away, I won't get in trouble. Offense off the field every 3 downs. Defense gets tired. Yeah. And yet again, they still only put up 17 points. And I heard some people, again, talking about the defense because they're so frustrated we can't stop the run. I get it. I 100% get it. But at a certain point, you got to go, you know what? It's not like we're losing because we can't stop the run. That's not why we're losing. We're losing because we can't put points up on the goddamn board.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down.
Because we can't keep our offense on the field.
Yep. Anthony says they have all this talent is being wasted because of Jones. Yes, 100%. Yeah. 100%. Dakota, just tank at this point. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to tank, guys. I really don't. Because you kill any, positivity in this franchise with more and more losses. You really do, guys. You look at the fact that the locker room starts having issues. You look at the fact that you lose just credibility within the league overall. You look at the fact that you go ahead and get, and you go ahead and get the losing mantra, so to speak, within the building. And guys, yes, we've lost and we haven't been good the last 10 years, But we haven't really had that like 2-15 kind of season. Like we haven't been to that depth yet. Yeah, I did say because who knows what's going to happen the rest of this season if we keep,
So you're saying there's a chance?
Listen, if you keep Jones in there is definitely a chance, 100% a chance. But you look at with this team the last couple of years, guys. So let's see, 6-11, 9-7, 4-13. Okay, there's the really bad one there. 6-10, 4-12 again, really bad. But I feel like in this whole thing, there's never been the time that I feel like the Giants can sit there and say they're the worst team in the league. We just lost to the team that had that crown, guys. You could sit there and say that now. You really can. So, yeah.
You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. You want to be the worst, you got to get beaten by the worst.
I just think that we're running into issues here, guys. We're running into issues. Let's go over a topic of positivity that I think we do need to give in this whole thing here, guys. And that's talking about Tyrone Tracy Jr., who I know is going to get a lot of slack potentially from some people because he's the guy who got the fumble that killed the overtime, obviously. Guys, we need to give a little props to this kid here.
He's been great.
He's got 3 100 yards games in the 5 games he's now been like a prominent part of this offense. Like, at what point do we go, okay, this is a really lucky, good season that we're having with this kid here. He's got 442 yards, guys, in 10 games. He's on pace, because keep in mind, again, he hasn't had the beginning yards. He's on pace to have a really special season where he's on pace to even potentially hit 1,000 yards. You can make that case. You absolutely could. Okay, so Google actually did not put it in today's games yet. He's at 545 yards, guys, averaging 5.1 yards per carry.
Yeah, take that heartbeat.
I'm trying to give us something positive here, so I'm trying to focus a little bit on that part too, because think about it from the perspective of the fact that he didn't have much going on for the last 5 weeks, guys. So let's see his totals here. So 25, 27, 29. He had 29 yards in the first, let's see here, first 4 games. That's it. That's pretty crazy. So that means in 6 games now, since that changed. Let's go back to where I had it. I wish I had update these stats better. Let's see here. Where's the stats here? Okay. So that means he had 516 yards, guys, in 6 games. That's pretty goddamn good. I think that's something that we need to focus more on, that kind of positivity. That's 86 yards a game, guys. If he did that over a season, that's almost 1,500 yards. That's how good this kid has been. And I feel like he hasn't got enough credit, because I know a lot of that is because of the fact that, you look back at, the fact that this team is so bad and it's hard to focus on good. But we gotta give some positivity. We got to give some positivity here, because that's not a bad thing. There's not a lot. There's a lot to look at good at the season right now. That's something to look good at. Let's get back to the comments here. So John Anderson says a real coach gets any QB worth anything to win, especially easy games. He is not the guy, and neither is Daniel. If I was the coach, I would have had Tommy Lasagna in there at least 2 games ago. But John, the thing is, you don't get to make that call. You don't, as a coach. And you said a real coach gets any quarterback worth anything to win. Is Daniel Jones worth anything? I just think that. I just think that it's not. So Facebook user says, not surprised DJ never gives us a chance to win, but to lose. Think the fans should want DJ to start if you want to lose out to get the number 1 overall pick. I mean, listen, maybe that's what the Giants are doing. They're just not going to say it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like I get 100% though why people would want the tank. Getting the first overall pick is a nice catch there at the end of that. Like I said, I think it causes more issues than people realize. I really do. Josh says it's the whole team. They all suck. It's just some suck more than others and at critical times. Again, I'll disagree with that, but I think until we get a quarterback in there, it's hard to say. It really is hard to say. But we'll have to find out when and if we actually, get that chance. Facebook user, we have a $160 million quarterback that can't throw TDs. Yeah.
Mm.
And he goes, why do a flea flicker on a 3rd and 1? That's the play I was saying. I don't think it was 3 and 1. I think it was like 3 and 2 and 3rd and 3. I should have wrote that in my notes there, but yeah, absolutely freaking ridiculous. That's even something that we would consider doing. John says, who is worth first pick of QB? Well, it's funny you say that because we're going to go over that Wednesday. So I haven't finished doing all the analysis there on the quarterbacks there. I know a lot of people like Cam Ward. That seems to be the consensus around most Giant fans. But let's be honest, this is the same franchise of fans that wanted to get, like guys like Malik Willis. So
he's played pretty well for Green Bay.
Yeah. Josh says it's not just quarterback away. Our secondary is atrocious. Let's look at that then. That's fine. I'll take that part here. Let's look at that. Now, we are absolutely horrendous at portions of throwing the ball. Portions. So we are the second to worst team at completion percentage, allowing 70.8%. We are ranked 27th at allowing 7.8 yards per pass. All bad. They only pass the ball 27.8 times a game. That's third best in the league. They only throw for 191.6 yards. That's 10th best in the league. That's right, 9th best in the league. Plus, we have the highest sack percentage in the entire NFL. I can't sit there and say our secondary is atrocious. Can I say it's great? No. But look at what we're at, guys. We give up 22.4 points per game on average. That's 15th in the league. 15th. That's average. You can say it's slightly above average for 16 teams because that's going to go down this week, actually. So we have an average defense. And you're saying our secondary is atrocious. So are you saying our run defense is great?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just trying to point. I get it. You see big plays, you see plays, and again, I think a lot of the issues we have with this team overall, we kind of spread it out as opposed to focus the energy on the one person it needs to be focused on. Our secondary is not great, guys, 100%. But if we're only giving an average amount of points up per game, and we can't stop anybody at the run because we have the worst run defense in the entire league. Obviously, depending on how you want to judge it, but we're averaging 5.2 yards a carry against us. So the worst one in the league based on threat. And we're only giving up 15th in points. Secondary is doing something right, that means.
Yeah.
So it means we're doing something right. He also says, and we can't run block, and we have problems at both tackles. Well, we can run block, or else we wouldn't be getting a guy that's doing over 80 yards a game the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, wrong.
There. And problems at both tackles, that's because we have one problem at tackle, and Andrew Thomas is out. That'll be fixed next year. Facebook user, QB plays awful. Yes, 100%. 100%. Josh says, you're sounding like a Jets fan with the QB away talk. That's fine. I'll take that. Because I feel like that was kind of meant as a diss there. I don't care. We are. You put a decent quarterback on this team, and we have a winning record, guys. 100%.
Shit. At this point, I'll take Jake Cutler coming off the retirement bench.
Deb says, I disagree, Josh. How many of their games we have won with a good QB? Granted, other areas need work, but it's the QB. Thank you, Deb.
He gets it.
Anthony also, Drew, I agree with you saying it's a QB away. That's all it is, man. Someone can hit a player, someone that can hit a player in stride, or just hit a player in general. Like, I'm sorry, again.
Or close to it.
How many times was there a guy literally wide open? Wide open. Like, who was the guy who had to come back in that second to last drive and it bounced off the ground before it hit him? Was it Wandale? And like he had to run back for it, and I was running back to help Jones because Jones had some pressure on him, and I'm fine with that part of it there. But he was so goddamn open, it's not even funny. There was no reason to actually throw it at his like the end of his toe. Like there was no reason for that. Absolutely ridiculous. Josh is different from year to year. All the players don't come back. We have new problems next year that don't exist now. Yes, that's fine. There's no perfect team. Absolutely no perfect team. Brad says, "Oh no, they're idiots if they defend him." Anthony says he was a Blue Devil. He wasn't real, and he just never was any good. And Josh says, "Deb, there's no way to know that." Yes, there is a way to know that, Josh. That's take Daniel Jones out of the goddamn equation. Take him out of the equation. Sit it back on the bench where he belongs. Like I said, if I had my way weeks ago, he'd be sitting there as the emergency QB. DeVito would be starting, and Drew Lock would be the backup.
I was going to say, if we started Drew Lock for the past all of October now, no one would be like, oh, I don't know, he needs more time or he needs help with us. No, we were saying Drew Lock's a terrible quarterback. How come we can't do this for DJ? Like, how come we have to try to defend him? Like, let's call it what it is. It's just
like he's not playing good football. Drew Lock to start are the people who still somehow love Daniel Jones. Just like, look, he sucks too. It's not Daniel Jones. It's the line. It's the receivers. It's this. It's that. Yeah. It's the weather. It's the
humidity makes the ball drop. Just Through said earlier. So that goddamn passes is way off.
Always goddamn excuses. Let's see here. Facebook user 2 and 15. Brad says he will be backups for some teams. He will never start again. Yeah, like I said, I think he is the next Taysom Hill. Someone's going to bring him in as a backup. They're going to bring him in specifically on running downs because he is a good running quarterback. But that's all. That's all. Dakota says, yes, Anthony, who drafts a QB from Duke? Apparently the Giants.
Yeah. Wow.
Anthony Clemente, bring back cutlets. Yes, it's time. It is time, guys. DeVito time. Deb says,
come on, everyone. DeVito riding.
Josh says, go back and look at missed scores because of QB. Yes, 100%. 100%. All right, guys, we're going to pay the bills real quick, and we're going to get back to your comments, guys, because you guys got a lot of info coming in the comments here, and I want to keep going through them all. Let's just get through this real quick here, and we'll be right back.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, guys. And, of course, if you want to support the show other ways as well, you can also support the show by sending a super chat here on YouTube, setting stars on Facebook, or, like I just said, go over to that buymeacoffee.com there. Now, the other thing, the best way to really support us, guys, if you really want to hear anything going on with the Giants, we do 3 live shows per week, plus our game stuff there. We're also, this week coming up at the bye week, we're going to do our quarterback breakdown of the guys coming out of the draft here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. That is definitely the best way at that point to go ahead and find out everything going on there. And, as I say that, on cue with Anthony Clemente with the 999 super chat. Much appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
Much appreciated. All right, let's get back to the comments here. Where we go here? I went down because I wanted to put that up there, so you did that. Much appreciated. Let's see here. Here we go. Facebook user Dave Gettleman with the 6 pick select Daniel Jones. I always said pick 6, but it is kind of a pick 6 when you pick the Jones. It really is. He says, don't put DeVito in. We lose our pick for Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders. I think it's hard for me because I just don't have a preference as far as which ones that we get. I just feel like I'm not sitting there like, oh my God, we have to get this guy. Like you and I were on the same page with Jayden Daniels last year. Like you and I both wanted Jaden Daniels.
100%.
And that was our top guy. We had Michael Penix as our backup, more obtainable option because we were drafting. We just don't have that yet because Rob and I don't do a lot of work on the quarterbacks till the year's over, basically, because stuff changes week to week and we spend so much time doing Giants content. It's hard to be those people to stare and watch all the quarterbacks as well at the same time. But this is the week for that, guys. So after this week, we might have a different opinion. We fall in love with the quarterback. We'll see. Full bloom love, as Gettleman would have said. Dakota said, Bucks have had multiple sellouts this year. Yes, they have, because the opposing fans are going to the games, not because the Buck fans are going. Dakota, you know better than that. You live in the area. So that's what happens. Like the Eagles game, for example, sold out, but there was green jerseys everywhere at that stadium. Absolutely was. John says, cutlets. I like Tommy Lasagna. Yes, he's not tall, but he can get the ball to people. He's faster at his reads. 100%. Facebook user, with DeVito playing, we'd be sitting at 6-4. I don't know, but I think we'd definitely be a whole lot better. Like I said, there's a lot of games I can look at and say we'd be better in this game and that game with DeVito. How much that equates to wins, that's a hard thing to say. But, I mean, you're talking 4 game difference. I would say probably 5-5. That's probably fair. But it's not out of the question, guys, by any means. That's how bad this team has been with Jones in. Dakota says, LOL. That pro-choice comment was mint.
It was fantastic.
John says, this game looked good for a minute when Burns got the sack and made the game, then all downhill. 100%. Dakota, Jalen Hurts, second round. Are you saying we shouldn't draft in the second round then, Dakota? Because I don't want Jalen Hurts. I still say it. I'm not a Jalen Hurts guy. I think you take the talent around him, he's not that good. I'm just thinking.
I agree.
John said they said in TV we are officially number 1 pick, so that's good. Well, that's because all the teams that we're competing with basically haven't played this week yet now, except the Panthers. So we helped ourselves in that regard. But all of the teams that were 2-7 haven't lost or won yet. So,
and there's plenty of time for more teams to lose.
Facebook user, hey Drew and Rob, and I'm sorry, I don't even know who this is because it's just this Facebook user.
Yeah. Hey.
In the chat, where it's saying that because you're in a group or something, feel free to hop on over to the actual goofball page, and you won't have this problem. And then I don't know if the same Facebook user or not, but another Facebook user says the owner said on Hard Knocks we're not giving quarterback the weapons to succeed. He has them now and same results. 100%. But you can have made that statement prior to this year. Now, whether or not you think it would have made a difference, that's a debate. But I still think that you can sit there and say, okay, the Giants didn't give DJ the tools to win besides this year. His line was better this year. His obviously receivers are better this year, and he still can't hack it. He's done.
Ghosty.
John says, I can't believe we all woke up for this knowing we suck. Should have went to the movies. Look at the discount movies, though. The discount movies, the early matinee specials. On the plus side, it's only 1:30 in the afternoon. By the time we go to bed, we won't be pissed off anymore, hopefully. So. All right. Myers Mistress TV says, I just realized I wasn't subbed to you on here. Fixed, LOL. Hey, Drew and Rob. Hey. Deb says, had Russell Wilson in the building. Shake my head. I always want to say smack my head with the SMH. I don't know why I do. Here's the problem is I really think Russell Wilson wanted a place that would guarantee him starting. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, he was going to get from us.
And we weren't going to give him that. We weren't. But yes, we should not have let him leave the building. But it's hard to get somebody to come to you that doesn't want to come to you when you can't do money. Like, he's already making enough money. And there was something with his contract where, like, if you gave him more money, it was just less money. The
Broncos had to pay him.
Broncos owed him. I forget the exact clause and the way it was written.
He got signed for the veteran minimum, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because of that clause, because he wanted to stick it to Denver and make them pay him as much as possible. If he had taken more money, it would just been the same money for him, just less money for the Broncos to pay. So, like I said, that's the problem, is how you're going to get a guy to come here that doesn't necessarily want to come here. Usually you would say, I'm going to give you more money. That's not gonna
Or
work
hey,
that.
you're a potential to win this or that, and
Oh yeah, we had that. We could say that.
Yeah.
You have the potential to win us the first overall pick.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to do that with you guys.
That's just where we're at. John says, how is it fair to say Dable is strapped with Daniel unless Mara made him? But I saw that both him and Shane wanted to keep him. That's why they paid him. If not, I would have quit if I was Dable. It's not that. I think, what was the other option, man?
Yeah, especially like we talked about earlier. Like we denied his 5th-year option. Then he plays his best career season, takes us to his, a playoff game, which as Giants fans, we haven't been there in a while. And then what are we supposed to do? Do you go out and draft a quarterback when you just went to the playoffs with the guy that you just had, who looked way better? Granted, so they rolled the dice, and at the time, I still stick by it. It was the right move because who else were we going to get for that price?
So
and now you can cut them.
Here was your options the Giants could have potentially gone for, because they weren't going to get Stroud, they weren't going to get Bryce Young, they weren't going to get Anthony Richardson. So, did you want to get Will Levis? Do you want to get Hendon Hooker, who wasn't going to play that first year anyway? I mean, that's where you're at. And then after that, nobody went to pick 127. You're not getting a starter that late unless you just luck out. You can't Brock Purdy it up all the time. That's just not normal. So, unless you really think Will Levis was the answer, but I think what's going on in Tennessee is showing you he's not. Unless you really think Hendon Hooker is the answer, which, guys, I would not have been opposed to Hendon Hooker, but but the problem is, again, he wasn't going to play that first year. So, that's the option you had, is either not have a quarterback or overpay for the guy that you're still not so sure on. So that's where I'm at. Derek Jones says the Giants simply need better players. We need more like Tracy players who can take plays to the house. Not Tracy's fault. Oh yeah, first off, yes, I'm not blaming Tracy on this loss whatsoever. I'm blaming Jones. As far as players can take it to the house, I feel like we have that.
We definitely do.
We got Nabers. We got Slayton. Those guys can take it to the house. Wandale Robinson every so often does a little trickery there and gets much farther than he should. Tyrone Tracy Jr., like you said, is a take it to the house guy now. Devin Singletary has shown that ability in the past as well. We got the guys. We don't have is the quarterback. Flat out. Anthony says, Derek, I completely disagree with you. The Giants have good players, bad QB. And then Derek says, I think Tracy is the offense lone true star. So you're saying Nabers is not a star, man? And I understand Nabers is not playing like he was in the beginning of the season here, and weeks 2 and 3 especially. But yeah, if you don't think Nabers is a star, guys, I don't know what we're hoping for here. Like a rookie that is the leading receiver and a top receiver in this league here, guys. That's a guy who's getting the job done. And he's getting a lot of attention from the opposing defenses. And he's still getting it done. Deb says, Tracy did not lose this game for us. Dakota said, LOL, Saquon has 1,000. Yeah, that's fine. Saquon has 1,000. So I guarantee if you put Tyrone Tracy in the Eagles offense, not that I'm suggesting that you stay away from our goddamn running backs. You got enough of them now. But if you put Tyrone Tracy on the Eagles, think about this. If he has 500 with the Giants right now, what do you think he'd have with the Eagles? With a better run, with a better offensive scheme, with a better offensive line, with multiple weapons on the passing game that can go ahead and take some of the steam away from there at that point. Some of the attention. Like, I'm sorry, Saquon is 1,000 yards. We had Saquon on our team. Saquon's not having 1,000 yards because of Saquon. Saquon's having it because Saquon playing in that system.
Correct.
We saw Miles Sanders in this game, guys. Miles Sanders had 2 carries for 5 yards. Just 2 years ago, he was a 1,300-yard rusher with the Eagles.
Who else spoke this?
Exactly. It's what I'm saying. That's the Eagles system, not Saquon. Saquon's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he's not a 2,000-yard rusher like Dakota's trying to insinuate here. He's a really good player in a really good system. So
that's kid around running backs.
yeah. Derek says Tracy is what we need, an offensive player who can take it to the house. Well, yeah, we need more of that. That's for sure. Dakota says Saquon better than Tracy. And Jones says Tracy has replaced Saquon. And listen, I would say Tracy has replaced Saquon at this point, guys.
Yeah.
I can't sit there and say that Saquon is not a better player than Tracy. Like, I think that'd be laughable to think that he is that Tracy's better than Saquon at this point in his career. But I'm telling you right now, if I had to pick which player I'd want, and I might get some slack for saying this, but I would actually take Tracy because he's on a rookie deal.
Yeah, it's not going to cost you $12 million, $13 million a year.
Yeah, exactly. And he's much younger. He hasn't had the injury, and we'll find out what happens overall, but he hasn't had quite the injury history like that, like Saquon's had. You know, there's pros. Plus, he's still learning the position, guys.
Yep. Don't forget, converted wide receiver.
Yeah, he's been a starting running back for a year and a half. Like, he doesn't have nearly the mileage on him that Saquon has. Again, Saquon's the better player right now. But in the long term, Tracy may be better. So Dakota says, ha, replaced. That's hilarious. Derek says, Tracy moves the ball every run, and he hits home runs. Dakota laughs again. Dwayne, what's up, man? Says Saquon has played the full season behind a better offensive line. Stop with the Tracy slander. He's actually on pace to produce the same amount in less starts. Like I said, it's a weird debate because it's done, but that's where we're at. Like I said, Derek says we have replaced Saquon. We need at least another home runs hitter. We have one. His name is Nabers. He just needs somebody to throw him the goddamn ball. That's where he needs. He's going to start writing books with Keyshawn Johnson here that starts up. Throw me the damn ball. Like, he's going to be that guy. Dakota says, you guys are delusional. I don't think they're that delusional, Dakota. I really don't. I don't think. Again, if you look at it on honest assessment, then dollar for dollar, Tracy's better. If you want to say who's a better player overall, of course it's Saquon. Of course it's Saquon. But, Saquon Barkley, ended up getting a deal for 3 years, $37.5 million. So you're paying him 12 and change a year, okay? Tyrone Tracy. Let's look at his over the cap here. You want to play numbers there? Let's do it. So his cap hit is $866,000, guys. So what you're saying is I can save $11 million and change with him over Barkley. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah,
because he's doing better this year than Barkley did last year.
To take 80% off the salary, you're going to get a player that's
more than 80. More than 80.
Well, yeah,
Barkley's getting 12 and change a year. He got $866,000 this year.
Yeah, I was just saying, a guy that's going to cost you less than $1 million that compared to paying someone $13 million.
Yeah, I'm saying it's insanity.
Yeah.
Jones says great offenses have home run hitters. Some do. Yeah, some of them are also just dink dunk, dink dunk, dink dunk, dink dunk. How many home run hitters, guys, does the Chiefs have?
This year, you would probably say Worthy. He's not worthy.
I'm just saying that because that's the best team in the NFL right now. Like, legitimately, how many home run hits does that team have? The team that literally had a trade for DeAndre Hopkins because there's issues going on offense in their eyes, and I can see why. So Hopkins is a home run threat. I'll give him that.
At least he was. We don't know he is in it right now.
I think he is. I think he's been dealing with Will Levis and the mayonnaise too much. You got, Patrick Mahomes, obviously, he's a home run threat. He's a home run hitter. Kelsey, I would say that prior to this year, but the way he's playing, do I really want to sit there and say Travis Kelsey is that guy now?
Yeah, it looks like Father Time's either caught up with him or Taylor Swift's been keeping him up way too late at night.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 400 yards in the season, guys. He's really got 4 games that he's really showed up. The rest of them are all under 35 yards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess you could still call him a home run hitter, but they don't have that many. So, as Dakota says, yeah, the Eagles have 4. Derek says Giants have too many just decent players. Again, I would disagree. Dwayne says, I'm sorry, man. If I was GM, I would take Tracy over Saquon right now. His value is too good. He's a 5th rounder giving you starter production. That's a rare thing in the NFL. 100%. 100%.
Yep.
And I think the interesting part about that is we're going to start calling him the Darius Slayton of running backs.
Still early for that, but yeah.
I remember Slayton was a 5th round pick.
Well, I'm saying, Slayton's been in the league a lot longer than Tracy.
Yeah.
You didn't
100%.
You didn't say how underutilized, Slayton was as a rookie, but then again, the Giants fans will all just jump.
He had 700 yards that year.
Yeah.
Anthony says, yes, Drew, I think Tracy was a great pickup. He's going to be a monster. Dakota says, why you're not a GM. T. Thompson, Rest was trying hard to give you all the game too. Let me put it this way. I didn't have to look at the logo of your user name on YouTube to see that you're a Panthers fan, man. But you got the Cam Newton there. I can tell that. I mean, like I said, guys, the Giants should have blown out this Panthers team, point blank. Again, 2 interceptions in the red zone. People, receivers being missed left and right that are wide the hell open. Missed field goal. There's so many things you can look at in this game. It's not even funny. And like I said, this was a loss for us more than a win for the Panthers. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to the Panthers. Panther fans should be happy they just won 2 in a row. They're maybe getting a little hopeful on their team a little bit there. Like I said, I'd be fine with that if I was them. I'd be pretty happy. But let's see. Derek Jones says we have to draft a different type of player. We simply have decent players. So I said it's hard to say. Let me ask you this, Derek, if you're still watching here, because I know we're kind of going through stuff that was at this point about half an hour ago, almost comment-wise, because we've been that backed up with comments. And again, thank you guys for all the comments here. Let me ask it this way. Are they decent players, or are the players playing decent with a bad quarterback? And again, that's where part of what I come from. It's very difficult for me to sit there and analyze some of these players and the coaches when we have this going on a quarterback. It really is. It's a fair assessment, I think. Let's see. Derek, we need home run hitters again. Dwayne says, haha, okay. And you aren't either. It's basic economics. We can't afford an aging running back on a rebuilding team. The Eagles are a playoff ready team, so a high price running back feels better. Yeah. I mean, he makes more sense for the Eagles than he did for the Giants. Point blank. Dakota says aging, 27 years old. Yes, that is aging. That is aging for a running back, Dakota.
Yeah, if I said in this league, yeah.
I mean, most of them are done by 30. So you got them 27, 28, and 29 in that contract. You're still paying him for a couple of years after that because of the way you guys wrote up the deal. But, I mean, that's where he's at. Yeah, that's aging for a running back. Derek says the Giants need better players. Dakota says Mixon's 31 and killing it. Most are 34, playing really well. And the I before E except after C? like that's not exactly what I would say is the examples you also want to give at that point there. So Joe Mixon leading up to this game, 609 yards, 4.8 yards per carry average. Not bad. Not bad at all. But I wouldn't say that's been amazing necessarily. That's not an all-pro season at that point. That's not a build your team around kind of guy. Let's look at Mostert here. So let's see where he's at here for the year. So I want to make sure we're not talking out of our tuchus, to put it nicely. Raheem Mostert, 34 years old, 214 yards, 3.9 yards per carry average.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So I'm saying, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
I think time is starting to catch up with him at 34, and it's amazing he's doing that. Don't get me wrong; that's not a disrespect to him whatsoever. Neymar says Brian Dable coaching has been horrible. Yeah, I'm not too happy with it. I can't do the final, assessment at that point when I have that going on. It's hard to say that. And we'll have Rob back here in just a moment here, guys. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to sit there and say that with everything going on with the quarterback situation. Until it gets fixed, it's really hard. Dakota says not a positive record with another QB. No wide receivers. Yeah, I'll disagree with that 100%, guys. Dakota, no, that's not right. I mean, you got to look at what's going on. And I mean, with your eyes, look at what's going on there. You got Malik Nabers, who is a true number one receiver in this league. You got Darius Slayton, who was out in this game here, but a true deep threat in the league and has been for several years now. You have Wan'Dale Robinson, who is a good slot receiver, is having a little bit issue with drops here this year, but the guy is on pace for like 100 catches this season. Yeah, I can't sit there and say that. Theo Johnson, I think that's the one guy we don't quite know what we got there. If we got a tight end yet as far as that, but I'm looking more positively at him the way things are going there. He had 4 catches, 37 yards today. Had that big one there that got tipped by the linebacker that was almost intercepted and still caught the ball after having a bad game last week with a lot of drops. So, like I said, we'll see what happens with him overall. But that's, I think, a promising game for him the way he played. Derek, Giants need better players. Great players make great plays. Odell didn't need perfect passes from Eli to score. Well, yeah, but are you sitting there telling me that you think Eli Manning, granted towards the end of his career, is a worse or equal player to Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones is hands down worse than Eli was. Look at what Odell did since then. I know there's the injuries. I know everybody looks about Odell as if he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And yeah, he had great years and the most athletic wide receiver we ever saw in a Giants uniform. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to disrespect the man. But how was he after Manning retired? Wasn't good at all. Didn't do good in Cleveland before he got hurt. I mean, his best years were Eli. You could easily sit there and say Eli helped make him. That it was a mutually beneficial relationship until he opened his mouth and said too much. Dwayne says, yes, 27 is old at the running back position. You take more hits at that position than anyone else on the team. I would say 27 isn't necessarily old yet, but you're on the path of old, and you're in the first year of a big contract. That's an issue. Derek says, Odell was a home run hitter. Giants have decent players, not great players. Giants and Giant fans overvalue their players. I don't know if it's overvalued. John says, all those wasted years are now gone with Dallas sucks. We could have got another quarterback, etc. Dwayne says, Odell tore his ACL in the preseason because of Eli's inaccurate throws. The ball placement matters. Yeah, no, again, like I said, people have this weird memory of Odell. They really do. Like, he's a great player when he was with us, don't get me wrong, but he's not nearly the player that people remember, because look what he did after Eli. Eli made Odell as much as Odell made Odell. So
yeah, that's fair.
John says, Daniel Jones has the tools. He just doesn't have the it factor. He has a toolbox that's half empty. That's what it boils down to.
That's fair.
That's what, yeah. Deb says, right, John, he has the shit factor. Oh, my God.
You got the shits.
I'd be fine with drafting the best available quarterback this year. If it doesn't work out, then do it again the next year. I don't know about that part.
Yeah, I don't want to keep on repeating the process here.
I want to make the right one. And I don't think 1 year is enough to tell you if you have the right one. I mean, let's look at Bryce Young, for example. He looked better in this game than he has some other games. Let's say all of a sudden it's a turning point. He becomes a decent quarterback. Wouldn't you be ticked off that you gave up on him quick? Look at Eli's first year. Those y'all are old enough to remember his first year. I'm saying it was first year specifically. So we were on pace to be in the playoff race with Kurt Warner. They bring him in, and he looked bad, guys. Bad. There's a learning curve. You got to be patient. And this is why I like the sitting, because let him sit for a while. Let him learn some of that stuff first. And then let him learn game speed once he's got some of this stuff going.
Yeah.
Box Attack, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says, enjoying the rebuild, gentlemen. Mara has defended Shane and Dable and has nothing to say about Jones. We know who's out at the end of the year, and it's not the former two. Yeah, I think Jones is definitely gone. That's for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt.
Facebook user, Jones has been bad for so long. I feel like they rolled the dice when Eli was about to retire and ended up overhyping him. Now they're eating losses left and right. I think what they felt like was they thought Justin Herbert was going to come out in that draft. And they said Gettleman was at almost every single one of his games. When he decided to go back for his last year at Oregon, oh my God, that just ruined our plans. And you look at the quarterbacks that were available in that draft. It wasn't a great year overall for QBs. I mean, let's see. Was that the 18 draft, I want to say? No, it wasn't the 18 draft.
17?
I'm trying to think. I got to look it up now. Let's see here. Daniel Jones drafted. I've blocked it out of my memory because he was so bad for so long. 2019. Here we go. I was around there. 2019 NFL draft. Let's see here. QBs. Let's see the QBs drafted. Let's see, because I got to remember sometimes. You forget sometimes because of what was going on in those years. There's not even a list. I was hoping to have a list nice and simple for us, but I'm trying to remember. We had, what's his name? Dwayne Haskins was in that draft, wasn't he?
I believe so.
That was the other one that was in there. Kyler Murray obviously was in that draft. Haskins obviously didn't look very good, and then obviously, unfortunately, since passed. So you can't call that a good pick. You can't call it a good pick necessarily for Kyler Murray. You can't say it's a horrible one, but you want to talk about QB hell. He plays just good enough to hold on to his job, and then they don't win anything.
Yeah. Kyler Murray, Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, Dwayne Haskins, DJ.
Yeah, that wasn't a good quarterback. The problem is that we forced a pick. We forced a pick at the most important position, and we picked him early because we're worried somebody was going to pick him up with the second pick we had.
Womp womp.
And on the positive side, I'll say this: that second pick was Dexter Lawrence, so maybe we're kind of glad they picked early for that reason. But let's not try to spit it as a homer there, but I mean it's part of it there. Derek says, why don't haters say anything about the Gano field goal miss? If he hits the field goal, win by 3. Tracy is the Giants' lone star, but he did fumble the ball and missed that pad. So you just also you double talked at the same comment there, Derek.
A little bit.
Let's blame Gano, who's coming back from injury, on the field goal miss. But Tyrone Tracy is the lone star, and let's ignore his fumble. And again, I'm not saying the fumble is the issue. I'm not saying the field goal is the issue. The issue is DJ.
Yeah, hands out, DJ.
But he says the haters, it's all on DJ. Yes, it's 100% DJ. 100%. John says, funny Deb. Derek says, was it DJ who gave up all those rushing yards? Was it all those rushing yards that cost us the game? I'd love to hear that response. Was it the rushing yards that cost us the game? Point blank. Derek says the team sucks. We need to draft better players. We need to get some better free agents. Like I said, get a quarterback will be fine. Derek says it was still 17-17 to start the OT. Exactly. So the defense gave up 17 points, and you're sitting there wanting to blame them a minute ago. Yeah. Facebook user says, so if we draft Travis Hunter, then what with DJ? Well, you still need a quarterback.
Bye.
Still need a quarterback either way. Again, I'm not opposed to trading for a guy like a Matt Stafford. I don't want to force the pick. If the Giants don't think the right guy is there, then don't take him. Do not force the pick, because that is the worst move you can make, is forcing the pick.
Look at the Browns for the past 25 years.
How many other franchises? Look at the Colts. The Colts are a classic example. Everything they're going through right now is because they forced to pick a quarterback.
Yeah.
Everything they're going through. Where Wacko Flacco was there last year. They could have had him starting last year and this year. Gardner Minshew was there last year, obviously. Guy got to the Pro Bowl last year as a Colts quarterback. Like that's the issue there. That's the issue. They force it. Don't force it. John says, I just want a team that's competitive through the game on both sides of the ball. The scary thing is we are actually competitive. We're in most games. It's just we don't win. I want a winning team.
Yeah, our team just doesn't know how to score. They know how to keep it close. They just know how to take the lead and keep it.
Derek says, we have receivers. That's the problem, is that they are decent. We need touchdown makers. We have been losing the same ever since the days of Eli. The Giants didn't start losing when Daniel got here. He says, I agree. Eli helped make OBJ. Say what you want about Odell. Odell scored more. We need to move on from Daniel. It's not all Daniel's fault. Daniel needs a change because he's not appreciated here. Appreciated here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let's be more appreciative. DJ, we appreciate your horrible throwing. We appreciate your interceptions in the end zone. We appreciate everything you're doing to help.
Trying. Here's your ribbon.
Yes. Here's your participation trophy. Here's your participation trophy. Then he says, we've been exposed. We can't stop the run. We can't stop the pass. We're consistently giving up 3rd and 4s and 50s. We can't tackle, and the QB needs the helmet to set to be on for the entire play. So, Derek, are you insinuating? This is what I don't get. Are we really insinuating that the defense is the problem when he gave up 17 points? 17 points.
Yeah.
I got to call BS on it. I have to call BS on that. Daniel Jones put up 17 points against the worst defense in the entire goddamn league. That's the problem right there. That's the problem. Derek said, perhaps with a 50-point lead, the deep plays better. Do we need 50-point lead every game? No. Of course not. But we need to score more points than a team in the NFL. We're literally last. We have the worst scoring offense in the entire league, and you're complaining about the defense right now. I don't get that, man. Explain that to me. The worst goddamn scoring offense in the entire NFL, and we're complaining about the defense right now that was ranked 15th in the league in points per game going into this game. And that's going to get a little bit better because they didn't give up that many points. They went below their average this week. But let's complain about the defense. Let's not complain about the quarterback that's missing open throws, throwing it to the wrong goddamn team.
You did that a lot today, this year.
Seriously. I don't get that. That makes absolutely no sense. And I get it. Some of y'all may be invested in Jones. We're all invested in Jones. We invested 160 goddamn million into Jones.
Yeah.
We're all invested. That's our money going to Jones. You think Mara's writing that check with money out of his bank account? No, he's writing it with our money, with our bank account, because we're the ones buying the stuff that helps the team make the money. We're the ones buying the tickets, buying the hats, buying the jackets, buying the bling.
Bling, bling, bling.
So, I get it. We're all invested, but he sucks. And the worst thing you can do is try to kid yourself otherwise and start blaming the defense because you saw the running back make a bunch of plays. Yeah, he made a bunch of plays. They scored 17 goddamn points, though. That's what matters.
Yeah, I mean, I've said before. I said going into this year, I think Giants are going to look like the Atlanta Falcons did last year, and they got Kirk Cousins. Now they're winning the division down there. So, that's all it did. They just took a terrible quarterback play and put Mr. Average.
Yep. Oh, look at the Vikings this year. Sam Darnold's not a great quarterback. I still say that. Still, he's an average quarterback right now. He's playing, but he's playing average quarterback with a really good receiver, with a running back that's good, and a defense that's playing up to snub here.
Yeah,
and they're winning. So, as Derek says, all those played part in the loss. It all played into the loss. Big Dash knows. What's up, man? He says, fellas.
What's up, Dash?
Shake my head. I said it right that time. Shake my head. What's up, man? We got to get you on the show here one time, Dash, too. We got to do something here with you and do a little collaboration. So hit us up one time.
It would be cool.
Yeah. Derek says, get Shador and let's start. I think he's meant start all over again. I don't know if that second again was on purpose or not. We haven't started all over again the whole time, and that's the problem. We just retooled. We didn't rebuild. I feel like this year is a rebuild because look at this draft class. Like, this is something you can build around. You know?
Yeah.
Are you getting beamed up by aliens, Rob, all of a sudden? What's going on there?
Trying to figure that out. I was like, geez. If I disappear, guys.
They're coming for you. Anthony says, people who think Nabers isn't a home run hitter clearly don't understand football. OBJ had a 2-time Super Bowl MVP throwing in the ball. Swap situations. Everybody says Nabers is better. I won't say better yet, man. I will not say better. It's way too early for me to sit there and say that. OBJ had, in my eyes, the best offensive wide receiver rookie season of all times. No disrespect to Puka Nacua. What he did, especially coming off an injury, missing the first couple games and everything, was absolutely goddamn amazing. But Nabers is having a very impressive one. And if you don't think he's a home run hitter, I'm sorry. I can't work with that. Like, I can't explain to somebody something that's so obvious to everybody else. That's so Derek says the whole team is the problem. So our players need to score. Yeah, they do need to score. And who is the one who gets them the ball so they can score? Quarterback.
Yeah, not the running back, the quarterback.
Dorothy says we should fire the offense coordinator. Oh. Yeah, I honestly, I do think the play calling is an issue, and I do think Dable should give that up probably. But I think he's too much of a control freak to do that. I really do.
A little bit.
And that's part of the issues where I'm not sitting there saying I'm still sold on him. I'm not giving it up yet because I want Dable to be the answer. But I also don't want this to turn into like where he's the Daniel Jones of coaches, and 6 years later, like, if we just give him this one thing here, he can do this. Like, I don't want that to happen either. So as of right now, I'm willing to give him another year. But then you run into the issue of the quarterback. If he's a lame duck coach, do you want to give him a year with the new quarterback? There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. Anthony says, Derek, have you heard of the term word vomit? Matty Man, 1987. Hearing some of you fans talk is making my IQ drop. Consistently defending Jones's insanity. Derek says, Nabers needs to take a pass to the house. Yes, Nabers also needs to get thrown the ball he can take to the house and not be hit behind him or throwing the ball
in triple coverage
down the field. Like, that's what we seem to be expecting. Let's give him a 2-yard pass and expect 70 yards of yak afterwards. Like, stop.
Yeah. Come on.
Derek says Hyatt needs to take the pass to the house. He just needs to take a pass in general.
He got one today, didn't
he? He got. I thought I saw him a couple times. He also got the big pass interference call, but four catches, 39 yards. This was actually a pretty good game for Hyatt, I thought. Actually, that's actually one of the things that we're kind of forgetting.
It's like a career.
Yeah, like he doubled his career numbers today, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a good game by Hyatt, and one I think that we needed. But again, you got to take it where we're going, because you're doing that against a very bad Panthers team, and he hasn't done it all year long. So if he does it next time we play again, which is against the Buccaneers, then I'll be a little more excited that this is a turning point, not just a oddball game for him, so to speak. Derek says I didn't blame the defense, but the defense is part of the team too, and they got run on. I get it, but points are what matters, man. Listen, I don't give a damn if we give 400 yards of rushing up. If we gave only 17 points up, that's a win. For the defense, that's a win. That's all that matters. It's like the internet. I don't care how it works. I just want it to work.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's what it boils down to. Derek, it's a team. The whole team loses. No, yeah, the whole team loses, but the whole team doesn't cause to lose. That's the difference. Capitan, what's up, man? He says, hey, what's up?
My man.
Big Dash Nose says the Commanders started all over again, and look at them. Yeah, I mean, they did start all over again. So that's the thing.
Well, they went from the top down. That's not just the quarterback position. They new ownership down.
Yeah, and Dash, if you're still on, man, let me know if I'm crazy. Like, I still say we're a quarterback away. I really don't think this team is nearly as bad as as people see the same thing on this. I really don't. I think that this team, if you put a good quarterback in there, is a winning team. And I don't know, I'm not saying winning a Super Bowl team. I'm not saying that, but they're a team that's at the very least a 500 team in this league.
Yeah.
And considering the fact that some of our brightest stars, Tracy, Phillips, Nubin, and Nabers, are all rookies, you got to expect a jump from them next year as it is. So, I think that's where I'm at there, is that part of what's got me going as far as that. Like, you put a good quarterback, you get more growth, you get another draft class that's even half of what this draft class is, and all of a sudden now you got a good team next year. Dorothy says Daniel Jones is the Elizabeth Holmes of QBs. Nobody wants to admit they spent $160 million on it. Tim says, you're right, Derek. You won me over. Let's keep DJ for a 7th year. Derek says, did the quarterback jump backwards over that tackles for the Eagles? No, we need talent. What?
It makes no sense.
You're right. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna take Deb. I'm gonna take your lead here. Okay, I'm gonna take your lead. You are correct. Okay, Derek. Saquon jumped over a defender backwards, so let's keep Daniel Jones to your 7. Because those things correlate in some way, shape, or form, man. I just saying. That's where I'm at here. Apparently, Anthony says, Derek, you should be the GM. Derek continues, we don't have talent. Matty Man says, yeah, Derek, DJ needs 10 more years to develop. I agree. Derek, the truth is we don't have stats. I think he means stars. So if you hold other teams to 10 points, you still win. So you hold the team to 10 points, you still win. I don't get this.
Well, we
start over. Yeah. I just like I said,
if you're scoring 17 points and you hold the team to 10 points, then you win. I guess that's where he's going. I don't know.
Not every time. How many times have we had less than 10 points in offense?
It's true. But at least hopefully we'll be winning.
John says on Facebook they have in German Daniel Jones Eicht Schleib, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly at all.
Schleib,
which is Daniel Jones sucks. Yeah. Derek again says, for the longest we have sucked. We need better players. We don't have great players. I love this too. For the longest we have sucked. It's like you're starting a story. For the longest time we have sucked. The Giants have been a bad team, but then along came this man, Daniel Jones, and he made
a long time. The Giants have sucked.
1996, Dave Brown threw 12 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. The next year he came back because the Giants weren't sure if he was a franchise QB or not. Yes. And 96 was, I believe, his rookie year? No, his rookie year was like 92, wasn't it? I'm trying to remember now. I've tried to block most of the Dave Brown out, but I know Dave Brown. It was a 97 or 98 that he went and became he went and got Danny Cannell at that point there. Let's see. Here we go. So it was 92 was his rookie year. He didn't really start there until 94. That's why I was a bit down. But yeah. He was 96, she says there. That was year 3. And they gave him 6 games in year 4 and he was done. Yeah. So that's a big difference. We're giving Daniel Jones half the season into year 6 and he's still not done. Time to move on, guys. Time to move on. John says, yes, we have. Instead of the bad news Bears, we are the bad news Giants. It's the whole team. Deb says, Derek, don't you have homework you need to finish for school tomorrow? Oh, my God. John says, don't want a 500 team, want at least 800 team. Listen, I want that as well, but I can't expect that to happen overnight, guys.
Especially in this NFL. Like right now, the way it's playing, like if you have a team that's 800, like you have a team that wins 14 games this year, it's impressive. It's impressive anytime you do it, but yeah, the past couple of years, there's a lot of good talent. It's like been very diversified. To have a team that gets 14 wins I don't think you're going to see that this year.
Yeah, I think maybe
the Chiefs.
I think it's just you got to get better each year until you develop into that. You know, like teams that go to the Super Bowl and win championships, they don't happen. That doesn't happen their first year. It usually is something you build up to. So I'm trying to be realistic and say we should build up. So, Matty Man says this Derek dude is down bad. He says if Tommy DeVito was QB from the start of the season, we would be 4-5, and everybody would having the time of their lives. Well,
I had the time of my life,
and I never want to see Daniel Jones again.
well, I swear I owe it all to you, Danny DeVito or Tommy DeVito.
Oh my gosh. Anthony says, Derek, have you ever actually watched football? Derek says we have Tracy. We have decent. We have Burns and Nabers. That's it. Hold on a second here, because now you're bringing defense into this. Are you trying to say that Dexter Lawrence is not a top talent in this league?
That's just silly talk right there.
Yeah, that's not just cray. That's cray, as the kids would say there. And he says that's 4 players. But he gave us 3. You gave it 3. Tracy, Burns, and Nabers. Just saying. Are we not including Dexter Lawrence in this? Or is he number 4 you're saying? Because you got to include him.
Yeah.
Here we go. He says, we have Tracy, B, Dex, Burns, and Nabers. That's it. So I'm guessing he's adding Dexter Lawrence there. Anthony says, Sexy Dexy is the best defensive tackle in the NFL. Guys, I could sit there and say that Dexter Lawrence is potentially the best defensive player in the NFL right now, the way he's played the first half of the season.
Yeah, he's been lights out.
He's definitely in the conversation for defensive player of the year right now. Dwayne says, Derek is talking out of both sides of his mouth. On one hand, we have good players, but we also need good players. Anthony says, Derek is going to give me a stroke. Derek says, tear it down and start again. Let's burn the place down to the ground, guys. Guys, listen.
Fire.
Quarterback. That's what this all boils down to. And listen, we got some time off now. We got to go ahead and give it a week there. I really think what they're going to do personally, and we talked about this before. When I was on with Paul Dottino a couple weeks ago, he mentioned it as a possibility as well. I think that the Giants will go ahead and bench Daniel Jones for next game. I really do. I really think that's what's going to happen. I think what they're going to do is they're not going to say it right now. And I'm sure Dable said probably we'll analyze it later on. We'll look at what we've done wrong and watch the film and blah, 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 he usually says. I'm curious if anybody's watched that as well. Since we're on the show, obviously I don't watch that till later on. I'm curious if he said that Daniel Jones is a starter for the next game. If he sits there and says we're going to analyze it, then you know that's the end. Because he's come out after every single game and said Jones is a starter. If he came out this time and said we're going to look at it, we're going to analyze and do what's best for the franchise, he's done. And it would make sense to sit him right now. You know, you have the Bucs game coming up on the 24th. We got our bye week coming up here, guys. And then after that, you got just 4 days later. 4 days later, we got the Cowboys because that's on Thanksgiving. So you got 2 back-to-back games here, but I think that this is the time to do it. You got a Buccaneer team that's an average team in this league. You got a Cowboys team that's not going to have Dak Prescott. We could perhaps beat the Cowboys for the first time since the Woodrow Wilson administration. Just seems like forever since we beat them.
Yeah.
And this is a shot here. This is a shot to do it. Nemar says, I think Brian Dable will relieve the duty and hire Mike Kafka. There's no reason they promoted him as assistant head coach. As I said, there's reason they promoted him as assistant head coach and offensive coordinator. Honestly, I feel like I'm going to have to wear a foil hat when I say this, what I'm about to say. And Rob, you can feel free to tell me if I'm crazy. You know, all you on the comment too as well. If I'm crazy, tell me if I'm crazy. I feel like the plan was to go into this with Daniel Jones as the quarterback this year. And I really feel like the plan was that this is going to be the last year for Jones from the get-go, no matter what he did. They had the out. They knew they had the out. They couldn't get the quarterback they wanted this year. So they figured, let's just roll one more year with DJ. Let's look at this next year. Now, hypothetically, if you want DJ to succeed which if you're a Giant fan, we all want him to succeed. He's not going to, but we want it to happen. It's like world peace. We all want it, but it's not going to happen. Especially all the women at the beauty pageants. They all want world peace. But what it boils down to is keeping Mike Kafka there allowed for us to keep continuity for Jones. Now, next year, you get the new quarterback, you get the new coordinator, and you're pairing the two together right from the get-go. And I think it's better for everybody to do it that way. I really do. I think that's why they did it. And they know that Mike Kafka is gone the second the clock is midnight. Like week 17, he'll borrow the clipboard from Wink Martindale for that 24 poster.
Pretty much.
Tony, if you guys don't think he wants out of there, that man would probably buy his way out if he could.
He's wanted out for a while.
He does not want to be here, has not wanted to be here. Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There has been a lot of rumors that we're hearing with Davis Webb. Davis Webb, who was obviously the former third-string quarterback for the Giants a couple years ago, was actually drafted at one point to be the heir apparent to Eli, even way before Dable got here. Was a quarterback of his with New York and with Buffalo. Went to be the quarterback's coach at the Broncos now. Now his second year doing that. But hey, year one, Russell Wilson looked much better than he had the prior year.
Yep.
Year two now, he's
developing
Bo Nix, and people are pretty happy with the development considering their thoughts on Bo Nix. So not a bad hire if that's the way to go. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Dorothy says we can now say for certain that Dable cannot run a sub-70 40-yard dash.
He's not good at chicken wings.
I could say he could eat a sub in 7 seconds. Probably. Actually, who knows now? He got the Ozempic case. He swears he's not on that, but that man lost like half his body weight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
John says, sexy, us great. He means sexy Dexy is great. But they still got like 150 yards rushing on us. Yeah, that's fine. He can't do it by himself. Give me one guy that's pulling his weight on that defensive line besides Dexter Lawrence. One guy. I bet you can't. Because they're not. So.
No.
All righty, guys. Well, that's going to call it a night for us here, unless anybody else has any last-minute comments you want to get in while we're talking about what's going on the rest of this week here. So feel free to pop them in if you want us to go over them real quick before we go. But we're going to be back on tomorrow with our usual recap of all the games going on there today. And then we'll be back Wednesday. Instead of doing a preview, since we're not playing anybody, we're going to go ahead and do a preview of all the quarterbacks coming out in this draft. As I know you just saw the comments there. Let's go get that. That's when you're joking. Yeah. But we'll be, like I said, Wednesday we'll be going ahead and doing our preview of all the college quarterbacks that we think will be coming out. We have 7 that we're going to be going over there. So we'll go over all that stuff for you guys. We're also going to go over for you all the games coming up for week 11 in the Thursday episode that we do as well. And all throughout the week, we're going to be giving you guys all the latest and greatest Giants news as well, or the latest and worst Giants news as well, potentially as well, considering how things are going. And of course, we have another topic we may or may not go over next week as well that I think you guys will like. I saw a very popular channel do a special on how to fix the New York Giants. And quite frankly, I was disappointed in some of the stuff they said, because I think the problem comes into being when you just do the NFL as a whole, you just don't know everything going on the team. And that's the whole thing to do. And that's for us as well. Like, we do our picks. There have been plenty of times that people have corrected us and stuff that we say or think because we don't follow every team like we follow the Giants. That's just life. I don't have time for all that because I have to work and I have to, have a house I take care of and all that kind of fun stuff. And we already spend how many hours in the Giants as it is. But I thought it'd be an interesting topic to go. So maybe we might do something with that as well there, depending on what kind of time we can figure out there for the week there. That will give you guys still 4 episodes. We'll see on that. If not, we'll definitely do that when the season's over. We did that last year as well. So let's see. We got 2 more comments here before we get out of here. Then Dorothy says, side effects of Ozempic include acute Daniel Jones.
Fire. That's fantastic.
Nick Baba says, Ashawn Robinson can. Oh, wait, he's on the other team. Leonard Williams can. Oh wait, he's, and that's the crazy part. We had a really good defensive line here for years and years. Even when we were bad, we had a good defensive line. Our line sucks, guys. Point blank. Like I said, just is. Deontay White's his Panthers fan here. Dad, love the Giants. Shout and much love. Appreciate it, man. Like I said, I don't think I don't think we hate the Patriots. I always said the Patriots, the Panthers in any shape of the imagination. I have always said on the program that we have a lot of respect for fans that are teams that traditionally don't do very good. The Panthers have had some really good times, obviously, but they've also had a lot of bad times. So teams that have fans that don't have that rich history, those are true fans. Point blank. You stick with the team that sucks. And we get that now because we're going through that right now the last 10 years now.
Yeah.
Like, Giants fans that are right now still wearing the Giants gear are legit Giants fans. Anthony says, oh boy, Nick is the new Derek. No, he's being true. And Nick says truth hurts, unfortunately. Yeah, no, you're being honest, dude. I got no beef with it. I got no beef with it. He says, so does losing this big time. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night. Again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite.
Just like that. Oh, God.
Yes, that LinkedIn profile. And, of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well. That's Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Guys, we suck at marketing. We count on you all to help us out there. And, of course, if you like us on one of the video platforms, go one of the audio platforms used for podcasts as well. So yeah, that is a backup option. Maybe you missed an episode, you get to listen to us on your way to work or something there. Or it just helps us out and you want to help us out. You like the content. We'd appreciate it. So We'll see you guys again Monday night there, tomorrow night, talking about all that goes on in the football this week there. Appreciate you guys for watching as always. And as always, Giant fans,
Go Giants!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please.